You are now listening to Mike's Opinion, Logic Unleashed.
So it's the great grand reopening of the United States of America. Pandemic, schmandemic. We gonna get that money, at least in the southern states. Just listen. Welcome to Mike's Opinion. Thank you so much for listening, and you heard that right. We're going to reopen America. Oh, snap. Is it a tragic decision? Is it an awful decision? Is it the right decision? Who knows? Only time will tell. But, in intro, I mentioned that it's the southern states. The southern states seem to be a little more aggressive with it, but there are a lot of states that are going to do it. Alabama, Alaska, California ain't said nothing, So if you really take a close look, it looks like it may be some partisan politics. Seems like the aggressive reopening runs along party lines. Georgia comes to mind. Florida comes to mind. Florida is definitely one of our president's buddies. And, I lived in Florida for a long time. And not trying to make this a racial episode, because the race episode is coming and it may end up being a series of episodes. I've been doing research and I want it to be as I want all of my episodes to be, and my podcast in general to be thought-provoking and to contribute positively. It's really hard to talk about race and keep it positive, especially me as a black man. Anyway, I digress, as I normally do. But, this reopening of beaches and restaurants and gyms. And today I saw a interview with the mayor of Las Vegas. And it was on CNN, which some say is a left-leaning Democratic supporting station. Probably true, right? Anyway, Anderson Cooper was the interviewer. The mayor of Las Vegas was the interviewee. And Anderson took it there. She said something. He said, that's ignorant. And then she said something else, and he said, that's just an ignorant statement. And I thought that was a little wild on live television to call the mayor of a major metropolitan area ignorant. But she said quite a few things. And just looking at that mayor's demeanor, I'm speculating here, but this is Mike's Opinion podcast, and I'm Mike, and this is my opinion. There is a large group of a certain demographic of American women that I think are on some strong psychopharmaceuticals. The ones that mess with your mind. And they're in this happy place. They're in this place that isn't necessarily in the realm of reality. Like, they're in their own dimension of reality, and you couple that with the power and status of these particular demographic of females, the middle-aged, I'll go ahead and say it, they're white, And a lot of times they're women in positions of power. And I think to cope with that power, they have to medicate. And the medication comes in many forms: alcohol, pills, smoking, and meditation. There's negative and positive ways to medicate, but this particular section I'm referring to are on pharmaceuticals that mess with your mind. I think some people call them, or actually they are called, antidepressants, and there's a wide range of them. I have some experience with this. Okay. I dated a woman who, prior to my knowledge, had been institutionalized, and I was with her when she had to have treatments, and she reacted to a varying degree of different treatments. I was with her when she tried out these different treatments, and she eventually went to what they called ECT treatments, which is modern day electric shock therapy. And let's just say she and I are no longer together. And I wish her well, but couldn't do it. And it's not that I'm weak or didn't want to support her, but regardless of that, our relationship had come to an end. Regardless of that, our relationship did not end because of that. It really wasn't a contributing factor, actually. However, if I didn't have to deal with that, it would have been nice. Anyway, I have identified some characteristics in these women, and one that the mayor of Las Vegas displayed today was her constant smile. And also, if you look at the interview, her bottom lip, so I don't know if it kind of flickers in and out. She keeps messing with it, I don't know if it's because her denture's about to fall out, or if this is a side effect of the medication she's on, to be quite honest with you. But to put it simply, these bitches is crazy. Okay? They are delusional and in another level of reality that isn't actual reality. So, and it's probably not just women. And please, I know mental health is a big thing now. I am not condemning anyone who relies on pharmaceuticals to cope and to get through their life, because some people believe depression is a chemical imbalance in the brain. Personally, my opinion, I don't agree with that. Is it possible? I guess it could be. I grew up in New York City. I've seen the complete spectrum from certifiably insane, violently insane, suicidally insane. Is suicidally a word? I don't know. To the mildly, just a little bit bonkers, But I've said this in other episodes that, the 1700s, the people of the 1700s, 1600s, the cavemen, all of those who didn't have access to these pharmaceuticals but had to find a way to cope, did so organically and naturally without relying on a pill or an injection. We're weaker now. We're more reliant on these psychoactive drugs. Not even the natural, not like the psilocybin or some weed, I'm not an advocate of violence in any form, but there's, smacking the shiznit out of somebody is effective. I often think of that, scene in, the movie Moonstruck with Cher, when she slaps that guy and says, snap out of it. And, there is effectiveness in spanking. The endorphins or the things that are naturally triggered when pain, a certain, is used as a stimulant, they can make you focus and adjust yourself. without popping a pill. These things mess with your head. They are powerful drugs. And I don't think once you cross that line, you ain't never right, again. I don't think so. Especially the longer you take them. Just like I've heard stories of acid and ecstasy where people take it once, had never taken it and just never come down. So there are members of our society in positions of authority who are highly medicated. Highly medicated. And I use the positions of authority lightly and I'm just talking about anybody, teachers, doctors, mayors, governors, senators, congressmen, the list goes on and on, policemen. These people are under the influence, and because they are quote unquote legal, it's okay. But you can't smoke a plant that just grows from the ground. That's illegal. But that's a whole nother podcast. It's coming. A whole nother episode. It's coming. It's coming, y'all. But hear me when I tell you that today, when I listened to her speaking about reopening hotels and reopening casinos and reopening the theaters and the shows, and people are still dying, we are still social distancing, and there's no real science that this pandemic has truly peaked. Here in Texas where I live, the governors decided to open it up. And at what risk? Now, I'm always one to try to think of both sides. If I am a governor and I run a state, I know the stimulus money is not helping. It's a very short term fix, right? Very short term. So we have to get this economy going. And if you're talking the real behind closed door talks, the real talk is people are going to die anyway. We as governors, senators, congressmen, presidents, we get these reports of who dies, who lives, who's born, how many births, how many deaths a day. We know people die, accidents, natural causes, a whole host of reasons why people die. And because this is not awful, and I say that it's not awful, and I only mean it's not awful compared to other pandemics. Okay? Because as of today, and let me refresh my browser real quick, there are 2,639,721 coronavirus cases worldwide and 184,280 deaths. Okay? Compared to other pandemics where tens of millions of people died, this is dropping a bucket. Now, to anyone who's lost anybody, I'm really sorry. So this is not a drop in the bucket. If you lost your mother, your father, your cousin, your sister, your brother, your baby. even though I haven't heard of any babies die, there was a couple of children. But anybody who's lost someone directly because of this, I feel for you, and I extend my heartfelt condolences to you. But when you are in these positions of governors and positions of oversight of large amounts of people, you have to think statistically. You have to look at the forest and not the tree. So I'm certain that their lines of thinking are, we need to reopen stuff and see what happens. Because we can't, the stimulus money, trillions of dollars, is getting eaten up. And people don't know how to be inside and be away from each other. We need life to get back to normal. Most of it is financially driven. There are fiscal reapings that they want to continue reaping, I'm sure. And they're being pressured by some in the business community, I would imagine, as well. And there's like, okay, let's see what happens. Now, What can happen is the death rate either continues at its current rate or it subsides, and this works its way through the community. According to the mayor of Las Vegas in her interview today, she thinks everybody has it. Like literally everybody. But we're just asymptomatic. She might be right. Maybe she's right. I also heard today that a couple of cats, feline, like house cats in New York who tested positive for the coronavirus. So I looked at my 2 cats today and I was like, y'all got the coronavirus? But they have very limited contact with the outside or with other people. And so I doubt that they have it. But I get it. I get the concept of reopening because it's nearly the end of April and we're going into May. We got spring is here. Summer's coming. And how long do we stay shut down? Right? However, couldn't we go for another month? Couldn't we stay shut down for the month of May? Just to make sure that this curve, is the peak is over. Couldn't we? I like, it being quieter. Even though it's my neighborhood, it hasn't been that much quieter. People out riding their bikes, people doing us. I'm outside. People still cutting the lawn and they, it hadn't been a whole lot of difference here, to be honest. That said, there's been a whole lot of difference all around the planet. For instance, the canals of Venice, Italy, are now clear. The water's clear. There's swans and even dolphin and jellyfish, tigers in Africa, because there's no safaris, are just chilling. Nature and the animal kingdom has benefited greatly from this pandemic. Because humans ain't running around stomping on stuff. We're not out there treading on their kingdom, their territory, because humans are intrusive. We intrude everywhere with arrogant and, this is ours. This is our planet. You're just here. There's bobcats still in my neighborhood because they have very few places to go now. We've intruded on what was their natural habitat. But we're reopening the United States. What do you think? Do you think it's too early? Think it's too soon? You enjoy your current situation? Are you chilling at home? Do you feel imprisoned at home? Have you enjoyed this reprieve? Has your employer made you, work from home and is still cracking that whip? Give me the work. As many of you may know, I left corporate America a long time ago. And I ain't never going back. And I encourage everybody, if you're even remotely able to, do it. Do it. And personally, it's just me. I would rather live under a highway overpass and dig in the trash can than ever go punch a clock for anybody ever again. And that's just me personally. And it's multiple factors involved for the reason that I feel that way. But everybody's not like that. Because everybody has, a lot of people have jobs and you have to go to that job. And these businesses are in the business of making money. Yes, they want to provide a service or entertainment or product. Well, let's be clear. This is all to feed the greed machine so they can have their yachts and their private jets. And I'm not going to front. I would love a yacht and a private jet. Okay? I would love to have that. That'd be cool. Right? Who wouldn't want? You know, I remember the old cartoon, Elmer J. Fudd. I'm Elmer J. Fudd. I own a mansion and a yacht. You know, but that doesn't define my happiness. I don't have to ever have that in my lifetime to be truly happy. And, you know, they say power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think that is also true with money. I think once you get that money, you want more money. Once you get that big money, you want bigger money. Once you get that real super rich, you know, 10, 11 figure money, then you want more money and more stuff. Because the billionaires out there, you know, they've done everything probably, right? They've traveled everywhere. They've bought everything. And once you do that, right? I remember listening to this song, and I don't know if Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever his name is now. And I've been to, and you know, I've been to a couple parties where he's at, you know what I'm saying? And spoke to him like briefly once a long time ago in New York, but you know, I don't know the dude. Okay. And he would never recognize me. We've had brief encounters, but I remember in the song, he's like, you know, what do you do with what used to get you high? Don't get you high no more. You look for something stronger. And at the end of the day, for these billionaires, 100 millionaires, it becomes they play with people. They play with lives. You know, now some of them are still true. And I'm outside looking in. Let me be clear. This is just me and my opinion on these people. I don't know these people, don't know their intentions, don't know their heart. But I know history. And those with that power and those riches, they start playing with people's lives. You know, they're like chess pieces. It's like a living game of life or Monopoly or chess, you know, and some of them want to contribute positively to the world, you know, but that power, man, it's like a drug, you know, it's like alcohol. You get drunk with it and what you can do with it, because when you got that money, people bow to you. People will do anything for you. So this reopening of America is not for the betterment of the people. It is not to help nature. It is not to help climate change. It is for money. It is for the greed machine. And that is what the mayor of the mayor of Las Vegas said today. You know, that people need to go to work. A lot of people are tied to the hotels. You know, they need to open up business. Business needs to go. And the United States president, you know, I don't know that he coined the phrase, but he's like, we need to reopen America. America's a business to these people. That's the terms they think in. Life, people, families are secondary. And this administration and the people leading it and in it have not really tried to mask it. Like the political system and administrations prior to them, you know, at least they try to mask it. They try to give you that good feel. Oh, we're about the people. They are the same. They are about the business and the money, but at least they try to soften it, right? They try to make it feel like it's about the people. This administration, the hell with the people. We're going to reopen America. Pandemic, schmandemic. Let's get this money. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is about. So, two sides, right? How long do we let America's businesses shut down? The other side is, do we risk many, many, many more deaths? I think we should chill for another month. I think the month of May should be closed, chill. Let's keep what we're doing. Send out some more checks, some more monies, suspend all mortgages and rents. Just defer it to the end of the loan or flatly eliminate it from the loan. Okay? So people don't have to worry about money. All utilities, water, gas, electric. There's no cutoffs. There's no billing for this month. Sweeping. How about a kumbaya moment? Let's come together as humans and money doesn't matter. Imagine that for a second. If we cared enough about each other to put money aside and said, you know what? We're just going to chill, Earth. We're just going to flip the switch on Earth to off. And we're just going to spend time with our families. Now, we still have this technology. There's nothing like being face to face. Okay, let's be clear. Getting a hug or feeling that person's energy, because we emit energy. A lot of people call it an aura. Okay. But we have this technology now. We have Zoom. We have an app I just heard about called House Party. We have FaceTime. We have Skype. We have ways to see each other. It's the next best thing. And so there are good stories out there. Heroes, frontliners, generosity, food banks, people contributing to all types of things. But this great grand reopening of the United States, it's too early. We still got a week left in the month of April. And here we go. So only time will tell. And I hope that this doesn't turn out to be a ridiculous disaster, and that the virus reinvigorates itself and the death toll rises exponentially. I hope that doesn't happen, because that would truly be horrible, and it would have a backlash on the people that made these decisions. Re-election time would not look good for them, for sure. But then again, we've re-elected crackheads twice, so I'm not saying no names. But if you look at some of the conspiracy theories that are out there, some say the current United States president, like his Russian counterpart, want to extend their stay. Now, the United States president could theoretically serve another 4-year term. Okay? If reelected. If he didn't think he's going to get reelected, some people say this is part of a sinister plot, whether he had a hand in concocting and distributing this virus, or if he's just taking advantage of the current virus situation and pandemic situation. And he's urged the state leaders in his party to reopen so the pandemic can keep going. Because make no mistake, this pandemic has disrupted the election process during this election year. Now, on his opponent's side, there has been a clear nominee for the party, Joe Biden, former Vice President Joe Biden, and he is clearly the front runner, barring any kind of miraculous rising by someone else. Bernie Sanders has finally dropped out, and, Crazy Joe is now going to be the Democratic nominee for president. I think that's a big mistake. I don't think we need old men anymore. I don't think we need old white men anymore. Okay? I really don't care if he's what color he is, frankly. All I care is that he's a good person. JFK seemed like a good person. Barack Obama seemed like a good person. They were both younger men, and I think they had the poise and the wisdom, the intelligence, the education to run this country and push it in the right direction. You know, but if you had to nominate somebody, who would it be today? What leader, 60 or under, or 50 and under? You know, who would you nominate to run the country? You know, right now. Okay. The Democratic field, they had Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg. They had Bernie Sanders, Cory Booker. They had quite a few people. Actually, too many people. I'd like to see a non-career politician and someone that really didn't want it. Someone that didn't have that thirst for power. Now, former President Barack Obama seemed like he didn't really have those aspirations. He was just into community help and helping people. And, when he gave, prior to him becoming president, when he gave that speech as a young senator, I believe at the time, at the Democratic National Convention, and instantly rose to prominence and national and worldwide attention, and ended up becoming the president of the United States. He did his 8 years, and now he's, chilling in Martha's Vineyard. So I wonder what he's doing behind the scenes, though. I've seen a few communiques from him, and I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I can hope he's doing something stealthily awesome behind the scenes, but who knows? But this pandemic right now has killed, I don't know, what did I say? The number was, less than 200,000 people in the month or 2 months that it's been out. So that's 200,000 people that are gone, that are dead. What's going to happen during the month of May? This last week in April and the month of May, with stuff reopening. Now, they're reopening with these guidelines, and just before I get to that, the guidelines, let me just go back to the conspiracy theory. Some people are saying, that he's going to suspend, he being the United States president, is going to suspend the election because it's going to be the economy is going to be shut down, the country is going to be shut down, and I don't see how that could happen because he can't control the rest of the world, and the world seems to be sort of recovering, but then there's rejuvenation. It's hard to tell what's really going on, especially worldwide with these deaths and sicknesses. All that said, I still don't think this is not even close to past pandemics. But if this conspiracy theories are true, there's going to be other actions taken by this United States administration, the current administration, and the current president. And we'll see if he can get all the way through to November, because that's, more than half a year away. So he'd have to stretch this out for a long time. And that would be just the level of sinisterness would be remarkable, right? So, back to the guidelines. Okay. The guidelines are going to be, stores can open, but not really. Okay. They can do curbside, drop off. Social distancing still has to be implemented, but your business is open. Now, I've seen several bar owners, salon owners, gym owners said they ain't doing it. Now, that's their business decision. They said they're not opening because they do not want to be responsible for possibly spreading this virus. You know, and I get it, but if you're a salon and you have to do somebody's hair or nails or whatever service you provide, can't you do 2 at a time? Right? Open up. Wipe down the chair or the station down. You know, is slow business better than no business? You know? So those are going to be the basic guidelines. Social distancing, and these establishments are not going to be open. Now, according to the mayor of Las Vegas today, though, she said it's not her job to tell these businesses how to run, because Anderson Cooper was asking her, well, you haven't given them any guidelines. And she said, it's up to them. She said, I'm not a casino owner. I'm not a business owner. I don't know. You know, it's up to them how to implement their social distancing. So she's just saying, y'all can open and y'all work it out. Now, I have had the pleasure of visiting casinos. I don't know how you would do that. Casinos are not a social distancing endeavor. Okay? Restaurants aren't really either. Your server still got to bring you your food. He's got to breathe on it. And even though they say, ingested food, your gastric juices will kill the virus. I mean, and then there's the issue of circulated air. This thing is seemingly airborne enough that if you're breathing recirculated air and one person has it, you have the potential to get it. So, I got to tell you, I'm kind of torn though, because the death toll has been so low, once again, compared to other pandemics. This isn't wiping out people. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million people have not died and are not dying. Okay. So is it really that bad? Some people say it's not even a disease at all. It's all hogwash. But this reopening of America is happening. We are reopening America during a pandemic, and it's going down, and only time will tell. So, good luck to all of us out there. Social distance, wash your hands, and, how you doing? How are you doing? I always ask that. I know I can't hear you. This isn't a telephone call, but I hope you're okay. I hope you and your family is okay. Anybody that you care about. I hope this whole world, will get past this and we can get to some version of normalcy. But today I also saw that a specialist or a doctor said that we can see a huge resurgence in the coronavirus in winter. So this may become one of those things that we have seasons of, that we can add to the list of contagious things. We have a list of contagious things. The flu and its strains come to mind. Hepatitis, pink eye, the myriad of STDs and STIs, the whooping cough, the common cold, strep. There's a lot of things that are contagious out there and have been, and we've lived with it, right? And grandma was right. Grandma was right. Wash your hands. When you come in this house, you wash your hands. And now we can try not to touch our face, which is nearly impossible. I can hope that this microphone does not pick up my cat, because I have rabbits in my backyard, and apparently they are tormenting him like he normally does, and he is meowing at the top of his lungs, and I hope you can't hear that, because it sounds torturous. Anyway, I wanted to chime in with an episode. It's been a week since I dropped one. I dropped like 13 episodes in 3 weeks, and I was like busy for this last week, really. I didn't get a chance to, but I'm not too busy for you. I was just too busy to do this, and I have so much more coming, y'all. Oh man, I've got a lot of episodes coming. They are coming, and they're gonna be good and juicy. But here we go. I will closely monitor the situation, and as always, I'm going to offer my opinion on this crazy situation. But we're reopening America. Here we go. I'm Mike, and this has been Mike's Opinion. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much for listening to Mike's Opinion. Logic Unleashed.